Hey, guys. We are Group 1. We are going to introduce Chapter 8 of Platform Revolution, Governance.
In the first quarter of 2015, the CEO of Keurig Green Mountain Coffee Company had some explaining to do. The company had just launched the Keurig 2.0, a next-generation coffee brewer touted as the future king of brewing. The reigning king, the Keurig 1.0, had become ubiquitous in homes, offices, and hotels, and Green Mountain's expensive coffee cartridges had helped fuel the growth of what had been a regional brewer into a firm worth more than $18 billion. Yet with the launch of Keurig 2.0, sales did not rise further. Instead, they fell by 12%. The problem had its origins back in 2012, when key patents on Keurig's coffee pod design expired. Taking advantage of this change, competing coffee makers began selling pods that were compatible with Keurig's machines and significantly cheaper. Their existence, and the competition they presented to the official Keurig pods, caused an erosion of Keurig's market share. To fight back, Keurig included in its brewer version 2.0 a scanning device that prevented the use of any pods not marked with a special proprietary emblem. By attempting to grab an even bigger share of the profits from its coffee-making platform, Green Mountain had angered its community and forfeited profits. The king of coffee had violated 3 fundamental rules of good governance. 1. Always create value for the consumers you serve. 2. Don't use your power to change the rules in your favor. 3. Don't take more than a fair share of the wealth. Governance is the set of rules concerning who gets to participate in the ecosystem, how to divide the value, and how to resolve conflicts. To understand good community governance is to understand the set of rules for orchestrating an ecosystem. The goal of good governance is to create wealth, fairly distributed among all those who add value. If navigating the rules for governance is hard for one-sided platforms like the Keurig brewing system, it's exponentially harder when platforms are multi-sided. After all, multi-sided platforms involve numerous interests that don't always align. This makes it difficult for platform managers to ensure that various participants create value for one another, and it makes it likely that conflicts will emerge that governance rules must resolve as fairly and efficiently as possible.
This part I am going to introduce market failure. It is important that govern platform business because absolutely free markets, in which people and organizations interact with no rules, restrictions, or safeguards, can't always be relied upon to produce results that are fair and satisfactory to those involved. Like some users on eBay have greater knowledge, market savvy, and bargaining skill than others. In most of cases, the interaction are fair, but in some cases, appearing some manipulative or deceptive behavior. Like Allsop beer's story, a seller who owned a bottle of precious Allsop's beer, but he didn't know the value of that beer, so he just proposed an opening bid of $299. The worst is that he spelled Allsop wrong, so few people know this precious beer is being sold on eBay. A shrewd scavenger for mislabeled bargains spotted the listing and jumped in as the sole bidder. He bought the bottle for $304, and sold the bottle over $78100. And there are 4 main causes of market failures. They are information asymmetry, externalities, monopoly power, and risk. Information asymmetry means one party to an interaction knows facts that other parties don't and uses that knowledge for personal advantage. Like seller know that the goods are fake but does not inform the buyers. Like Gucci handbags with broken stitching. Externalities, when spillover costs or benefits accrue to anyone not involved in a given interaction. There has an example of negative externality. Like one of your friends provides your private contact information to a gaming company in exchange for a few digital points. This would be a bad interaction because it violates your privacy rights. Positive externalities like YouTube analyzes your video watching behavior on their platform, then, YouTube uses this data to recommend the video that you may prefer to watch. And people aren't likely to complain about them. Public good is a concept closely related to the positive externality. The value creator not fully get the value, maybe others would get the value, too. It's difficult for individuals to create public goods unless reward them. Monopoly power. One supplier in an ecosystem becomes too powerful because of its control of the supply of a widely sought good, and uses this power to demand higher prices or special favors. Like game maker Zynga became excessively powerful on Facebook, leading to conflicts over issues such as the sharing of user information, the split of gaming revenues, and the cost to Zynga of ads on the social network. Risk. The possibility that something unexpected and essentially unpredictable may go wrong, turning a good interaction into a bad one.
Tools for governance, laws, norms, architecture, and markets. The literature on corporate governance is vast, especially in the field of finance. Platform governance rules must pay special heed to externalities. The spillover benefits that users generated are the major source of platform value. Understanding this forces a shift in corporate governance from a narrow focus on shareholder value to a broader view of stakeholder value. A broader view of platform governance involves four main sets of tools: laws, norms, architecture, and market. Let's discuss some of the ways that platform managers can use these four tools as part of a governance system. Laws. The laws of a platform are its explicit rules drafted by the platform's designers to moderate behavior at both the user and ecosystem level. For example, at the user level, the Spotify rule that allows a user to download digital content among up to 5 devices prevents unlimited sharing. The laws of a platform should be transparent and encourage members to share their best insights with everyone else on the platform. And giving fast, open feedback when applying laws that define good behavior, but giving slow, opaque feedback when applying laws that punish bad behavior. Norms. One of the greatest assets any platform can have is a dedicated community. Vibrant communities are nurtured by skilled platform managers in order to develop norms, cultures, and expectations that generate lasting sources of value. These efforts established a powerful set of norms that came to govern platform. The norms like feedback, high-quality content, open engagement, and a natural role progression to greater levels of authority. Applying these norms, the community produced classic and valuable public goods. Behavior design is a recurring sequence of trigger, action, reward, and investment. The trigger is a platform-based signal, message, or alert, such as an interesting photo shows up in your Facebook newsfeed. This prompts you to click on the interesting photo, which takes you to the photo sharing platform. The action produces a reward for you to receive, a variety of additional tantalizing, carefully curated photos selected specifically to engage your curiosity in the photo sharing platform. Finally, the photo sharing platform asks you to make a small investment. You may be asked to invite friends, state preferences, build virtual assets. Any of these actions will set up a new set of triggers for you and others, and the cycle starts over. Architecture. In the world of platform businesses, architecture refers basically to programming code. Well-designed software systems are self-improving. They encourage and reward good behavior, thereby producing more of the same. The most innovative forms of architectural control ever invented made is the Bitcoin digital currency that is governed by blockchain protocol. The blockchain is a distributed public ledger that enables storage of data in a container, the block, affixed to other containers, the chain. Anyone can verify that you place data in the container because it has your public signature, but only your private key can open it to see or transfer the contents. The blockchain protocol has given birth to a new kind of platform, one with open architecture and a governance model, but no central authority. It makes possible fully decentralized, completely trustworthy interactions without any need for escrow payments or other guarantees. Markets. Markets can govern behavior through the use of mechanism design and various incentives. Not money alone, but the trifecta of human motivations that may be summarized as fun, fame, and fortune. Well-designed market mechanisms can incentivize the creation and sharing of intellectual property and reduce the riskiness of interactions on the platform. Initially, Airbnb refused to indemnify hosts against bad guest behavior, and Uber refused to insure riders against bad driver behavior. Eventually, both companies realized that this refusal was hurting the growth of their platforms. Today, as we've noted, Airbnb offers its host members $1 million in homeowners protection, and Uber is partnering with insurance firms to create new types of policies to protect its drivers. Rather than seeking to minimize their own risk, platforms should use market mechanisms such as risk pooling and insurance to reduce risk for their participants and thereby maximize overall value creation. Good governance means looking after the health of one's ecosystem partners.
Principles of smart self-governance. Good governance means looking after the health of one's ecosystem partners. It's applied to platform companies themselves, as well as to platform partners and participants. The first big principle of smart self-governance for platforms is internal transparency. In platform companies, as in virtually all organizations, there is a tendency for division or departments to become siloed. To develop unique perspectives, languages, systems, processes and tools that are difficult for outsider to understand, even those in another department of the same company.
To avoid this kind of dysfunction, platform managers should strive to give all their business divisions a clear view across the entire platform. Such transparency promotes consistency, help others develop and use key resources, and facilitates to growth scale.
The so-called Yege rant, Executive Steve Yege's attempt to summarize a mandate issue by Amazon's Jeff Bezos, captures the spirit of this principle very effectively.
Bezos insisted that all of the Amazon team must learn to communicate with one another using service interfaces, data communication tools specifically designed to be clear, understandable, and useful to everyone in the organization as well as to outside users and partners.
The idea is to treat everyone you do business with, including your colleagues in other departments and divisions of the organization, as customers with legitimate and important information needs that you are responsible to meet.
Hence the 7 rule presented in the Yege rant: 1 All the henceforth expose their data and functionality through service interfaces. 2 Teams must communicate with each other through these interfaces. 3 There will be no other form of inter-process communication allowed. The only communication allowed is via service interfaces, calls over the network.
4 It doesn't matter what technology they use. HTTP, CORBA, PubSub, custom protocols doesn't matter. Bezos don't care.
5 All service interfaces, without exception, must be designed from the ground up to be externalizable. That is to say, the team must plan and design to be able to expose the interfaces to developers in the outside world. No exceptions. 6 Anyone who doesn't do this will be fired. 7 Thank you, have a nice day. By contrast, companies that limited their own ability to see across business units are likely to fail to establish viable platforms or to build their platform business to scale. Sony Corporation provides a sobering example. Sony never developed the vision to offer a platform, and embraced separate product lines and focused on individual systems. The second big principle of platform self-governance is participation. It's crucial for platform manager to give external partners and stakeholders a voice in internal process equal to that of internal stakeholders, a voice in internal decision processes equal to that of internal stakeholders. Otherwise the decisions made will inevitably tend to favor the platform itself, which will eventually alienate outside partners and cause them to abandon the platform. It about just and fair governance can create wealth. If platform reap people fairly, they're more likely to share their ideas, and the more opportunity to mix/match/remake them into new innovations. It leads participants in a market to allocate their resources more wisely and productively, not always create wealth or can never be created without it, in the long run, may create more wealth. In the end, we summarize some takeaways from the governance mechanism must therefore be self-healing, promote evolution, designed for self-design that encourages platform members to collaborate freely, experiment fearlessly, update the rules as necessary. It's also flexible enough to respond to fast-moving parts and slow-moving parts.